So today we will start with the chapter Quadrilateral. In this chapter we are going to study about certain topics as you can see in this mind map. We are going to study about the adjacent sides of quadrilateral, opposite sides of quadrilateral, adjacent angles of quadrilateral, opposite angles, adjacent vertices, opposite vertices of quadrilateral. And also you are going to study about the angle sum property of quadrilateral. So this property you are going to use in many of the sums also. So let us start with the introduction part. Now just see, a quadrilateral means a simple closed figure formed by joining four line segments. So when you have a simple closed figure and the figure should be made from four line segments, then we call that figure as quadrilateral. As you can see this figure, one line segment, the second line segment, third line segment and the fourth line segment. These are the four line segments are there, and this is a closed figure. So this is called a quadrilateral. Now just see, the word quadrilateral is made from two words, quad and lateral. Quad means four and lateral means sides. So whenever you are talking about quadrilateral, it implies that it is a simple figure with four sides. Now as I have already told you, it is having four sides. Now quadrilateral is having four angles also. This is the first angle, this is now the second angle and the third and the fourth. These are the four angles are there. Then the next one is vertices. So let us see the vertices. So this is one vertex, this is the second vertex, this is the third vertex and this is the fourth vertex. This is a B. Okay. So now the next part is the two diagonals. The two diagonals are what? This is one diagonal and this is the second diagonal. These are the two diagonals are there. So now I am going to take an example of and I'll explain you this. So just see, here I have taken a quadrilateral ABCD and as you can see in the figure, and now I'm going to tell you what are the names of the vertices, what are the names of the sides and angles and diagonals. So first just see the definition. I've written the definition with the help of one example. A plain figure bounded by four line segment, and here I have mentioned the name of the line segment. We have taken the name of the line segment as AB, BC, CD and DA. Then it is called as quadrilateral and we can write this as quad dot ABCD. Just remember one thing, when you are going to write down the name of the quadrilateral, it should be capital ABCD, or if you want to name it as PQRS, so you can write this PQRS, but it should be in capital letter only. Just see, here I have told you they have four sides, or sorry, four line segment. Four line segments are nothing but the four sides only. So one line segment, the second line segment, the third one and the fourth one. So one is AB, then it is BC, then CD and then DA. So these are the four line segments. So the second point, I think it is clear here only. The sides are what? AB, BC, CD and DA. Now see the first one, vertices. Vertices means when the two lines or the two sides meet at a common endpoint, or they have a common endpoint, then it is called vertex. Just see, this line and this line, or this side and this side have a common endpoint A, so that means A is one vertex. Then again this line and this line have a common endpoint B, so B is the another vertex. Again this line and this line have a common endpoint C, so C is the third one. And then this and this have the common endpoint D, so D is the fourth vertex. Now let us see about the angles. So angles is what? Just see, this is my one angle, so you can name this angle as DAB and you can also write this as angle A also. Okay, then go for the next one, ABC, angle ABC. Angle ABC can also called as angle B. Then BCD, this is also called as angle C. Then it is CDE and this is also called as angle D also. You can either write angle A or angle DAB, that is same. You can use both the names, but specifically try to use these names. It will be easy for you to understand it further. Now the next and the last part is diagonals. So diagonals means what? The opposite vertex. You need to join the opposite vertex of the quadrilateral. So what is the opposite vertex of A? C. So join AC. This will be one diagonal. What is the opposite vertex of D? Sorry. What is the opposite vertex of B? Obviously D. So join these two lines. These are the two diagonals are there in the quadrilateral ABCD. Okay. So now we will study about what are the adjacent sides of the quadrilateral. So just see, adjacent sides of the quadrilateral means the side which are next to each other or which have the common end point. Just see this side and this side. Can you see A is common in both? So that means this side and this side, that is AD or DA and AB, are the pairs of adjacent sides. As you can see here, I have written the name also. The next one is, just see, AB and BC. They have a common endpoint B. So AB and BC are again the pair of adjacent sides. Just see, BC and CD, again they have a common endpoint C. That means they are also the pair of adjacent sides. And the last one is CD and DA are again the pair of adjacent sides. I cannot find, or you cannot also find, that there is any other pair of adjacent sides are there. So let us move to the next topic, that is opposite sides of quadrilateral. Now just see, two sides of quadrilateral are called its opposite sides if they do not have a common end point. So that means they should not have any common end point. Just see, this is one side and this is the other side. Do they have any common line, or do they have any common sides or end point? No, they do not have any common end point, because this line is AB only, this line is CD only. So they are called opposite sides. The next one is BC and CD. Again just see, they do not have any common endpoint, so they are also the pairs of opposite sides. So let us move to the next topic. So now we will understand what is adjacent angles of quadrilateral. So two angles of quadrilateral having common arm, then it is called adjacent angle. So let us understand this with the help of this figure. Just see, if I'll take angle A, that is DAB, or this angle A, I'm taking this angle A, and then I'm taking the next angle B. Just see, in these two, can you see this AB is in both the angles? In DAB, your AB is there. In ABC also, AB is there. So that means angle A and angle B are having a common arm. So these two are adjacent angles. The same thing you can go for angle B and you can go for angle C. Again just see, in angle B and angle C, you have a common line BC. That means angle B and angle C is also having common arm. In the same way, you can say that angle C and angle D are also having, angle C and angle D are also having a common arm CD. So they are also the pair of adjacent angles. And angle D and angle A, they are also having a they are also having a common arm DA. So they are also the pair of adjacent sides. So in a quadrilateral, we will have four pairs of adjacent angles. These are the four pairs of adjacent angles are there. So now let us understand the next topic, that is opposite angles of quadrilateral. So two angles of quadrilateral which are not adjacent are known as opposite angles. So just see, I have told you these two are adjacent angles, right? But and these two are adjacent angle, and these two are also adjacent angle, right? So and what I have written the definition here, not adjacent, that means which angle is not adjacent to A? So A is not adjacent to C, that means A and C is opposite angle. So A and C is the first pair of opposite angles. Now let us understand. Let us take B. So B is adjacent to A also, B is adjacent to C also. B is not adjacent to which angle? B is not adjacent to D. So that means B and D are the other pair of opposite angle. If you want to try and check for C, just see C and D is opposite angle. Sorry, C and D are adjacent angles and C and B are also adjacent angles. So that means C and A are the only opposite angle that we have already explained you. So that means we have only two pairs of opposite angles, that is one is A and angle A and angle C. The other one is angle B and angle D. So let us move to the next topic, that is adjacent vertices of a quadrilateral. So now just see adjacent vertices of quadrilateral. So what is the definition of adjacent vertices of quadrilateral? Two vertices which have a common side, they are called adjacent vertices. So let us take the point, let us take this point A. Okay, so now just see, if I'll take this line, right, so they have went till B, so that means they have a common side A and B. So that means A and B are the pair of adjacent vertices. Next, if we'll see just B and C, they have a common arm or common side. So B and C is having a common side, so that means B and C is the other pair of adjacent vertices. Same thing you can see with C and D. Just see, C and D are having a common line CD, so that means C and D are also the pair of adjacent vertices. And the next one is D and A. Just see, D and A having a common side as DA, so that means D and A are also. So we will get four pairs of adjacent vertices, that is A comma B, that is A and B, B and C, C and D, and D and A. So now let us see what do you mean by opposite vertices of a quadrilateral. Okay, so two vertices which do not have a common point. Now again we are going to talk about two vertices, that means we are talking about pairs which do not have common sides. So if they do not have common sides, then they are called opposite vertices. So just see in this figure, if I am talking about the vertex A, okay, so this is the common vertex. If I'll talk about B, so this is common vertex, this is also common vertex, because they have a common arm or common line, I can say AB and AD. So what else? So A and B are the adjacent vertices. So we have to see which is not adjacent. C is not adjacent. That means AC is one pair of opposite vertices. Now let us check for B. So now B is having a common adjacent vertex with A, and B is also adjacent with C, right? So which is left? D. So that means B and D are also the opposite vertices. So we have two pairs of opposite vertices A and C and B and D. If you want to check for C, let us check for C also. For C you will get A only. Just see, if you will take C, what is the common vertex? What is the adjacent vertex with C? A. D and B. What is left here? C, as we have already written AC. And the same thing, if you will take for D, you will get B only. So the next topic is, let us understand what do you mean by diagonals. So the first thing, let us see the definition. The line segment joining the opposite vertices. So here in the figure, in this figure, what is the opposite vertices? A is opposite to C and B is opposite to D, right? So let us read the next line. The line segment joining the opposite vertices means when the line segment join A to C and B to D of a quadrilateral is the diagonal. So that means when I am joining the line A to C, this is my one diagonal AC, and the other diagonal is this two, B to D. So BD is the other two diagonals. So that means we have two diagonals AC and BD. So the next one is that I've told you, this is the most important property and that you are going to use throughout this exercise or this chapter. Angle sum property of quadrilateral. So angle sum property of quadrilateral is what? Basically you should know that in under this property it is, so it is given as the sum of all four angles, the sum of all four angles of a quadrilateral is 360 degrees. So that means, can you see this figure? We have A, angle B, angle C, angle D. So that means when you're going to add angle A plus angle B plus angle C plus angle D, you're going to get the sum of all these, all four should be equals to always 360 degree only. So if you'll take any of the shape, any shape of quadrilateral you're going to take, and if you find out the sum of all the four angles, all these four angles or all these four angles, you'll always get 360